Retro.
Yeah.
Electro. Tech.
Oh yeah.
Hey, turn the lights back on. Wow. Retro Electro Tech. When real audio ruled the world.
Hey there everyone, this is, you guessed it, Retro Ernest of Retro Electro Tech, and I'm back working on a couple of Bose wave radios back to back. I already did one video on them titled, Put a Bose in Your Nose. Everybody's got to try that at least once because life is short. So, in that first video, titled, Put a Bose in Your Nose, I covered the preliminary evaluation, some function testing, and even a little servicing of the CD mechanism itself. So, now I'm in the recap phase of this control board, this area here, and normally there's this, let me just show you what's going on. Normally there's this cover here, the shielding over this section. You remove that, it's pretty evident how to do that, and you have access to these electrolytics, these SMD. SMD, for you newer ones, stands for Surface Mount Device. So, there you go. So, unlike in a lot of this vintage gear we work on, you know, we use through-hole components that obviously the leads extend through the board, we solder them in place, off to the races, all that. Well, these ones get soldered to surface mount pads. Most of you know this, but again, for the newer ones, there you go. Now, I already recapped most of this board, well, all of it pretty much except for one cap, this last lonely old cap you see sitting here. And I saved the best for last because some of your newer ones, I'm going to show you the process of, number one, how you remove or could remove these SMD, you know, these electrolytics here. How you can remove them, there's a couple different ways, but also too, once you remove them, how to prep the pads and get ready for reinstallation of the new parts. Okay, so I'll cover that in just a moment. I'll switch views, whatever, and just cover this last one. But what I want to say in regard to this board here, this control board, this area here, is that these models here, this particular model and a few others, few other similar models, are known to have problems that affect this board here via these electrolytic caps, and it's kind of a well-known, notorious problem. So that's why it's a good idea if you are having problems with the ability to control the unit. So there's a host of problems sometimes that that kind of show up. Okay, anything from sometimes just an inability to control the unit appears to be kind of seized up. These units don't have external controls, okay? Everything is controlled via the remote. So if you can't control the unit, and of course you got a good battery in the remote and all that, you can't control the unit, then it probably has to do with this board here, bad caps. There could be something else going on, and I'll talk about a little bit about that in a moment. But start out with the caps on this control board, because I would say pretty close to 9 times out of 10, if you do that, you'll restore function. So what I was saying earlier about some common, you know, signs and symptoms that you'll see, yeah, sometimes just no control at all. Sometimes, you know, you can't really navigate through the menu to choose your functions properly. Sometimes it won't play back, or playback will be erratic, skipping, all that kind of stuff. Now, getting into other problems that could be taking place, well, it's a good idea to also check the mechanism itself, the CD mechanism. Now, as I mentioned in that first video, I went over some basic servicing of the CD mechanism and all that. Because, number one, it's good to make sure that you have, well, a clean laser lens. Clean the laser lens. I think in that video, yes. Matter of fact, I did. I went over how to clean the laser lens. Also, to the shuttle, or sometimes what's referred to as the sled, in which the optical pickup, the laser unit, is mounted within, slides along a couple of rails. So the movement of that shuttle or sled has to be really smooth. because you know it moves along, and the laser's trying to track the CD to read the data of the CD. If there's any kind of problem with degraded lubricant on those rails, or you know within that mechanism, and you know or you know dirt and debris and all that's causing that laser lens, that shuttle or sled unit to kind of get hung up and get sticky, well, you can have problems with you know the CD skipping and all that stuff, and just the laser not being able to read the disc properly. Okay, so I demonstrated a little bit of that servicing in that first video. Also too, it's a good idea to check these ribbon cables. There's several of them that plug in. You can see these sockets here. Okay, these socket connectors here, here, and here. So you can have a bad ribbon cable that has an internal connection issue, a problem with the cable itself, or there could be a problem. Maybe the ribbon cable isn't seated properly in the socket, or maybe there's some tarnish or oxidation, you know, affecting the connection between the ribbon cable and the socket, whatever. So you just want to check all that, check your connection issues, get these caps here squared away, and of course the CD mechanism itself. If you cover those bases, I would say, again, pretty close to 9 times out of 10, you'll resolve the problem, okay? And obviously, I mean, make sure you have a good battery in the remote. I know I mentioned that, but you know, again, there's no external controls on the AWR CC1, and I think of some others as well. So there you go. So anyways, let me go ahead and this last cap here came off of these pads here. I'm going to change the camera view and show you what's going on. Well, actually first, in regard to removing these caps, let's just say that I want to remove this cap here. You could just use a pair of pliers, something like this, whatever. Use what you have. If you have a decent set of pliers or whatever, you just grip onto the onto the cap. And obviously these are new caps, so I'm not going to pull one out. But anyways, you can either do this kind of motion here, just back and forth. Just grip onto it and just gently, back and forth. You don't have to get too crazy and too brute force. And those little weak leads that are soldered to the pads will snap loose very easy and then lift off, and you're ready to go. Some people choose to do just one big 360-degree rotation. You can do that too. Whatever the case, just grip on, don't get too brute force, and just be fairly gentle. Just back and forth, or just give it one good turn. And when you hear the leads kind of snap off, then just lift it out and you're good. All right. However, like I said, the leads will still be soldered to the pads here, okay, which is the case here. They're still leads soldered to these pads. So I'm going to show you just real quickly how to remove them, how to prep the area, and get ready to install the new part. So let me go ahead and change views and do just that. Okay, so here's the two pads right here with the lead still attached. All right, so after twisting the cap off, that's what you're left with. So starting with a nice clean tip, your soldering iron that is, I'm going to put a very small dab. You don't always have to, but I'm going to put a little small dab of some flux there. And starting with a nice clean tip, let me add a little solder to the tip so that there's a nice transfer of solder. There we go. And that'll loosen everything up, and then there's the there's the lead right there. Okay. Oh, actually, it's stuck to the to the iron tip. All right, so we add a little dab of solder there, so everything mixes in nicely. And there's that little piece of lead. All right, and that's all there is to it. So I remove those two pieces of lead. And then what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to go ahead and use some solder wick here and get that solder off and just prepare the pad. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me find my solder wick. And I could use a desoldering gun too, but I'm not going to do that because not everybody has one. And let me just show you how I do it just with a solder wick. My hand's probably going to be in the way a little bit, but essentially what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get this piece of solder wick here. Let me go this way real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to lay some solder wick on the pad there, place my soldering tip right on the solder wick, and I'm going to add a little bit of flux, just a tiny bit, and I'm going to just kind of drag it across. And the solder wick will do just that. It'll wick up the solder and leave a nice clean pad. So since you pretty much know how I'm going to do that, let me just go ahead and do it, because it's hard for me to do it with the camera here and all that stuff without getting my hands in the way of the shot anyways. So let me do that, and I'll be right back, and I'll show you the end result, how the pad looks. Okay, so after I added a little flux and just drug the solder wick across the pads, with the iron tip on top, of course, of the solder wick, and just kind of drug it across and wicked up all that remaining solder. I just got a little bit of anhydrous alcohol on a cotton swab tip and just clean the area. Now I'm left with a couple very, very clean pads. So now what I'm going to do in preparation for the installation of the last cap that I have to go is I'm going to put a little dab of flux, and I'm going to lightly apply a little bit of solder to these pads. And bring in the flux here. I only want a tiny bit here. I don't want to, yeah, just a little bit there and a little bit there. That's it. Okay, good. All right. Okay, so I have the pads tinned, so I have a little solder on the pads and a little solder on the tip of the iron. Let me get this cap lined up here. All right. Let me go around and grab the other side. Okay, so the objective was just to tack that cap down on that front pad a little bit. And now I'm just going to flow that joint real good there. And I'm going to go back around to the front and finish up there. Let me add just a touch more flux. All right, good. So there's a little bit more preparation involved as far as these SMD caps are concerned. Initially I had to, twist these off, remove the old leads that were adhered to the pad, clean off the pads and prep them, a little alcohol, and then, get everything cleaned up, apply a little more flux and tin the pads, line up the caps, and, get a little bit more flux on there, and then do my final flow of solder to get everything melted on the pads and at the end of the leads here. And yeah, now we have a good, strong connection going on. So there's that. Hopefully that was understandable. Let me go ahead and move on. I'm going to start with the reassembly and get things all tested. So obviously it's working. And the reason why I have this other CD unit sitting here on top is because this is the original from this radio. So yes, there turned out to be a problem with it, and I happen to have a spare CD unit here in the shop, luckily. All right. So it still needed the caps, and the reason I know that is because some of the caps I was pulling out, they were reading pretty bad, okay? And also too, the fact that these units have a reputation of having problems with caps on that control board and all that. So it was a good thing to do anyways, certainly not a waste of time or money for the customer. And after I recapped it, after I finished that up, I did do some needed servicing on the mechanism, got it all cleaned out, blew it out, cleaned it out, and applied new lubricant as needed, where needed. And there was a drastic improvement compared to where things were during the preliminary evaluation, okay, in the first video. These units didn't really want to do much of anything at all. But again, once this unit was recapped and the mechanism was serviced, it was actually playing pretty good most of the time, but every once in a while it would get kind of hung up. And that being the case, I ended up pulling out, well, of course, I obviously, pulled the original mechanism out of this radio here. And before I even dug out the spare that I have, I just swapped it over with this unit here, which is from the second radio that I'm working on back to back, because the customer brought in 2 units, as I mentioned earlier. And you can probably see a little bit of the other unit. Matter of fact, let me get that out of the way. You can see the second unit back there that I'm working on. And I'm almost done with it, getting final caps in it and whatnot. But anyways, moral of the story is I, pulled its mechanism out and dropped it in here. And this unit was playing flawlessly, not a single hiccup, not a problem, multiple tracks, different CDs and all that. So, that told me what I wanted to know quickly without having to get into a lot of diagnostics on the suspected bad CD unit. Because again, time is money. My budget is only so much for both of these radios I'm working on. So by swapping the unit out of the other radio, just dropping it in real quick, and that verified that everything otherwise was working. The recap was successful, everything was good. The unit was playing flawlessly with the CD unit out of the second radio. So yeah, that was good. And so I dug out my spare, and that's what's obviously in here now. So there you go. Now, I am going to refurbish this mechanism here. I know that mechanically it's good. I've tested all that. That's doing good. But I suspect that we have a problem with the optical pickup with the laser itself, the laser unit itself. And there might even be something going on with this cable. But either way, I'm going to grab another a replacement laser unit, optical pickup. And of course, they come with the with the ribbons and all that, okay, or with the ribbon. So that's all good. I'm going to grab one when I can. They pop up every now and then, and I'm going to refurb this unit so I have yet another spare on hand. And there you go. So otherwise, as I've already mentioned, everything is doing pretty good. Let me skip around a little bit. This is just some YouTube music, of course, so. Okay, then I'll just stop and eject. Okay, so that's cool. And otherwise, everything is working with, the AM, FM. Yeah, I don't have any kind of an antenna or anything hooked up and whatnot, but yeah. Anyway, that's doing good. I'm not going to tune around on a radio station anyway, so let me just go ahead and just shut this unit off. All right, so everything's looking good. I'm not going to film the second Bose wave radio that's sitting right there behind it. I'm almost done recapping it. Again, I know that this CD unit is good, and I'm going to get that wrapped up, and all is good in the world. So I'm just going to leave it here, guys, and as I always say, peace, love, music, and the vintage audio that brings it to your ears. Till next time, y'all take care.
This has been a Spinning Head production.